Yeah, I guess it's time to get rid of this. Just can't stand the baby face that happens after it's all gone. Meh. Look like I should be starting a cult.
Baby face.
Alright folks, welcome back to the latest episode of Hurt, Heal, Repeat, Road to Spartan. And for this episode, I'm not going to do any cooking. I want to talk about something that I mentioned previously in the January resolutions episode, where I talked about how I don't like resolutions, but I am a firm believer in goal setting and following up on your goals. But I only touched on that. I didn't actually break down the process of goal setting, and that's what I want to do here. Okay, when it comes to goal setting, the method that I like to follow, it's called the S.M.A.R.T method. And breaking that down even further, that means that you want to keep all your goals. Now, whether it's for fitness, for your health, or this could also follow through on just your personal life, work, school, whatever. When you're following the S.M.A.R.T method, it's broken down into several pieces. You're starting off with making sure that your goal is specific. You want to make sure that your goal is measurable. You want to make sure that your goal is also attainable and relevant and done in some sort of time frame, some sort of timely manner. The S.M.A.R.T method, and that's what we're going to be doing today. So when you're creating a goal and you want to start with the first step, and that is to keep it specific, what that entails is understanding that you're not creating just an overgeneralized statement as to what you want to do. Saying, I just want to get fit or I want to get healthy, that's fine. That's a good goal. If you were to say, I want to get healthy by changing my diet, that works. I want to get healthy by going to the gym, that works. But just saying, waking up one day and being like, I want to get healthy, that's awesome, but that's not specific enough. So you really want to break it down to the point that you have a clear understanding as to what the goal is. You've got to take the time to think about exactly what you want to do. And that's why it's very important to keep your goal specific. All right, so the next step to your goal setting is making sure that the goal itself is measurable. And what that means is that you're going to create little milestones to help you keep track of the larger goal at hand. If your goal is, I want to be healthy through, changing my diet and exercising more, the way that you can create your milestones would actually be breaking it down into, okay, so for this week, I've changed my diet or I signed up to the gym. The week after that would be that, I made it to the gym twice a week. Measurable, making sure that you're on track and that you're able to reach that final big, incredible goal that you've created for yourself. The next step in following the S.M.A.R.T method for goal setting is that you want to make sure that the goal itself is attainable. And what that means is that you're not just pulling something out of your ass and saying like, I'm gonna go do this. Anybody, especially if you're new to the whole exercise regime, if you're going through the process of like changing your diet, making healthy, positive changes, it takes steps. You don't want to necessarily let your imagination run wild and be like, yeah, I can do this, when really, maybe you can't at this exact moment. Warm up and build up. Like you want to build up to it. You want to make sure that when you're going in, that your goals are going to be attainable. When I was doing all of this was to make sure that, I'm getting myself ready for Spartan. Now, I got to make sure that the next attainable step is maintaining my exercise and my workout schedule so that I can make sure that I'm 100% fully prepared for the Spartan race. Because between you and me, I really don't want to do a lot of burpees. The next step that we want to talk about is actually making sure that your goal is relevant So we've been talking about fitness. We're saying that that's the big goal here. And if you're going to keep following on that, to keep it relevant, you know, you don't want to be like, I'm going to be healthy by becoming a doctor. I know it seems very broad-based, but, you know, is training to become a doctor, is that relevant to the actual goal? No, not at all. When I was an employment counselor back in Toronto, I had to talk to my clients about this all the time, because we would create the goals, but then we had to make sure that it was actually on point and it was something that they could follow through. Making sure that your goal is relevant also means that you're making sure that the goal that you're trying to follow and that you're trying to attain and complete makes sense. That's the big thing here. Making sure that along with everything else, that you're able to ensure that your goal is going to be specific, measurable, attainable, and relevant. Don't stray away from that. So the final step that you want to work towards is making sure that whatever your goal is, that it's time sensitive, that you've created some sort of deadline, because without that, really there's no reason to be doing any of this. For me, my main goal is getting ready for the 2018 Spartan race. I'm registered. I know that come September 22nd, I gotta be at Mount Seymour and I'm running the sprint. That's my long-term goal. On top of that, it's also making sure that I've got everything set up every 2 weeks for another episode of Hurt, Heal, Repeat. I've created those deadlines. Deadlines are something that you have to make, but they're also a big piece in the puzzle of goal setting. Without them, like I said, there's really no reason to do any of this, because you could measure it all you want, but if you don't create a final deadline, it is what it is. So, the SMART method, that means that it's going to be specific, that means that your goal is going to be measurable, attainable, relevant, and time sensitive. You want to have all 5 of those points, or else you're not following the SMART method at all, and that's just not smart. I'm going to wrap this up. I want to thank you for coming out and checking out the next episode of Hurt, Heal, Repeat, Road to Spartan. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Folks, it's been a blast, but I've got some other things that I need to take care of today. So I will see you folks in 2 weeks for the next episode of Hurt, Heal, Repeat. Many blessings, and blessed be.
Can I get a witness? Can I get a witness? Can I get a witness? Hallelujah, the work's begun. Let me come to church, let the healing begin. And with this day, God cleanse my sins. Let me come to church, let the healing